afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Ron Wallace here with Ballin' Down South Sports Network, here with another episode of the interview. Now, my next guest is a native Mobilian. Graduated from BC Rain, went on to college at West Alabama where he played football. Once he graduated, he came home to teaching and coaching, starting his teaching and coaching career. Was an assistant coach over at Baker. He also was a JV coach at the middle school level. Let me bring you on to the new head varsity boys basketball coach over there at Murphy High School, Andre Epps Jr. How you doing today, Coach?
Good morning. I'm doing all right, and you?
Pretty good, Coach. I know we had a little bit of a problem, so I had to wait till you get to a good location, but that's all right. Congratulations on the new head job over there at Murphy High School. I know you're coming from a pretty good coaching background over there at Baker High School. Talk a little bit before we get into the basketball aspects. Talk a little bit about yourself and about the people that don't know Andre Epps Jr.
I'm a Mobile native. I went to Pillins, Maryville. I started off at Maryville, went to middle school at Pillins. I graduated from BC Rain. I played football there under Coach Midden. Coach Dunn was my basketball coach. I realized that my size, that I wasn't going to be able to get a basketball scholarship, so I went the football route. I received a football scholarship for the University of West Alabama, but I've always been fixated with basketball. Just the whole sound of the ball bouncing in the gym, the fast pace, the high tempo games. I've always just gravitated to basketball, and it's been one of my biggest sports. I just hate that that my size kind of made it to where I couldn't go on to the next level. But I received a full scholarship at the University of West Alabama, and that's where I received my degree. Graduated with a Bachelor of Science in Physical Education. Came back home to coach. I just wanted to kind of help these guys out, get a lot of the things that we didn't have growing up. And that's the biggest thing that I wanted to do, was to come back and give back.
Well, I can tell you this: I'm very sure they're lucky to have you over there at Murphy High School. How did you get into coaching? What made you want to get into coaching?
When I got to college, it was a total different world for me, and I realized like no one has prepped me to this point. And once I realized that, and I kind of started learning things on my own, I realized that I wanted to give back and give these kids an opportunity and give these kids a lot of the knowledge that I didn't have going into college, because college is a totally different world. You by yourself. You don't have your parents there to wake you up anymore. Once you play sports on the next level, you have to be there before the time. If you had to meet for breakfast check-in at 7:30, you had to be there at 7:20. If you arrived at 7:30, you was considered late. So I wanted to just give these kids a lot of the things and intangibles that I didn't have once I got to college, and I realized like it was a real awakening for me, and I just wanted to give back. And I just always was a student of the game, and I understood a lot of the ins and outs of the game, and I just wanted to be able to share all of my experiences with kids.
Now looking at your doing a little research on you, I know you said you coached at the JV level at Burns Middle School. How was that experience coaching such a young group of kids?
Middle school and high school is two different planes, and I've learned that quick. Middle school, you get a lot of kids who have that athletic ability, but the fundamentals part is lacked. So you have to kind of break down a lot of the bad habits that a lot of the kids have, and you have to kind of put it all together. You might have a kid who's very talented, but they can't work on their offhand because some of them couldn't tell you what the offhand was. So it's just the athletic ability from high school to middle school. High school, the pace is a lot faster, so you have to make adjustments quicker. Middle school, it was kind of, if you were more talented than that team, chances are you was going to win. But that's not the case in high school, because you have to be able to coach or you're going to get out coached.
Yeah, you're definitely right about that. Definitely fundamental. I see a lot of kids, even at the higher grade, the high school level, trying to do what the NBA and the college players are doing, but they really need to be working. Definitely make sure they got the fundamentals down, and you can see that a lot in summer league basketball. Some of the kids just aren't ready. So now you're leaving one high school going over to another high school, over to Murphy High School. When you got the interview with Coach Jackson, who's the AD and the football head coach over there, what was that to you? And I know that job came open, so it probably was a lot of people in that hat. What did they see in you, or what did Coach Jackson see in you that made him go ahead and give you the job?
The passion and the energy that I brought. I'm energetic from football to whatever sport it is. No matter what I'm doing, I'm passionate about it. Once I walked in the job interview, I was just me. And they loved the fact that I brought the energy even in the job interview. I arrived, my interview was at 8. I showed up at 7:20. I'm very punctual. I like to be there on time just in case I'm not familiar with the campus or familiar with the place that I'm going. I like to go there early and kind of just get to knowing where I'm at and looking around and stuff like that. I basically went in there like this is my job. So I went in there. This is my job to lose. I'm gonna go in here. I'm gonna sell myself. I'm gonna give them everything that I have. And that's basically what I did. I was passionate. I was energetic. I brought my binders. I had tabs for them. Whatever I talked about, I had a tab in that binder for it.
I can tell you this, I'm a Marine Corps veteran, and the way the Marine Corps motto is, if you're on time, you're late. So, I can understand, you getting there 15 minutes or even, heck, almost an hour early. That speaks of what you're trying to do there. And I'm very sure you're going to ask the same thing out of the kids in your program. But to talk about the Murphy program, I know you guys just got through playing a lot of play dates. What is your coaching philosophy?
My philosophy is enthusiasm, desire, and trust. Um, those three things go hand in hand. I truly believe you cannot accomplish anything without being enthusiastic about it. You have to be passionate about it. You have to have the desire, and most importantly, trust. And that's not just me trusting my players, but me trusting the entire program. These kids have been committed. They have been playing hard. They have been playing together. We've only had 6 practices, but
Wow.
you looking at our record, you wouldn't be able to tell because these kids are buying into it. We went 11-1 in our summer play date. We lost to a hard team from Louisiana. We beat some great teams, and these guys are buying into it. We have a senior heavy class, but these seniors, they're starting to believe in themselves. They have that confidence, and they're playing lights out with Kendrick Johnson, Kelvin Johnson, Jaden Hill, Gregory Robinson, Dylan Guy. Like it's gonna be a great season for us. And these guys, they have that leadership ability. These guys are believing in themselves, but most importantly, they're believing in me and they're playing hard. Every game that we've been in, it's just been a straight defensive dogfight. We bring a lot of energy to the game. This team matches my personnel, basically matches me, and these kids are just buying into it and they're playing hard. It's a lot of athletes over at Murphy, and these guys are playing lights out defensively. They're moving. Most importantly, they're talking and communicating and moving on the flight of the ball, and they're finishing. This is going to be a great group. This is going to be a great season. And I'm just ready to get this thing started so that you guys can see what I see. Mr. Clark, I told him that I won't let him down, and I appreciated him for giving me the opportunity. And I just want to get Murphy back to playing great basketball and give that community something to be excited for.
Now you know Murphy definitely is known for football, bringing that basketball prowess back to the community out there where Murphy is will definitely highlight your program and the things that the tutors that you're going to give those kids. Talk a little bit about academics. What's your stance on that?
Academics is big because they are a student before the athlete. So we definitely will have a study hall. We will have tutors. They will have access to everything that they need to be successful in the classroom. Because my first job is to make sure that each and every one of these players graduate and get a diploma. I spoke with the counselor. It's the crazy thing about it. A lot of these kids have 3.0 GPAs, which
Oh
is great.
wow.
I have a printout of all of the kids' GPAs. I have a printout of who needs to go to summer school. The great thing about it, it's only 2 kids that need to go to summer school. That starts July 6th. But we will make sure that all of their work is done before they go home. We will have tutors. If anybody's struggling in any class, they will be able to go see that tutor so that they can get extra work. Once they get home, it's time to wind down, relax, and they can do extra studying. But I want to make sure that all of their work is done and completed before they leave school. So we will have a study hall period before practice so that they can get their studying in. It's education first, because without that, you can't go anywhere. And I want them to know that grades means that's the most important thing in this whole process, grades. Because I refuse to have a kid with 5 offers, but he cannot accept any because of grades. So we need to make sure the core GPA is up. And right now, everyone is doing great for us. Core GPA, we have like 5 players that have a 3.0 and better GPA. So that says a lot about this program.
That's great. That's awesome, because that's one of my pet peeves. I know my co-host KT Thornton. I'm always telling him, I say, it's about the grades. That's the first thing I want to know before I'm going to talk about an athlete. Because yeah, they make him play out there on that court, but I'm not going to waste my time or their time if they haven't got the grades in the classroom. And that being
Right.
said, social media, and I wrote a story about a year or two ago about social media, good and the bad parts about it. Talk a little bit about how you feel about social media in today's world with the young kids, the young generation, and basically what are you expecting out of your guys in your program?
Social media, you can look at that as good and bad depending on how you use it. That's something that we're definitely going to address because I know right now social media is the easiest way to get recruited, especially due the pandemic. A lot of people are getting scholarships just from posting highlights. We're going to clean up our social media. That's an issue that I am going to address with parents as well as students. We're going to change our names to names that's appropriate. That way, college coaches can find you because basically a lot of people can lose scholarships
Yes,
just by what they post online.
that's
So
right.
I want to clean everyone's social media up so that once that college coach or scouts looks at their social media, it's clean. They can see their name, they can see their classification, when they're graduating, their GPAs. I want them to be able to look at their social media and say, you know what, this is a great kid. This is what we're gonna go by right here. Let's go ahead and offer them because I don't want anything on anybody's page. It's not saying that that's there, but I want everybody's social media to be clean with the proper things that need to be on.
Now go back to your philosophy of coaching. You need to make that a T-shirt, coach.
Yes, sir. We have a lot of things in store. We actually gonna get a lot of those things printed on the locker room. I'm actually in the process now of redoing the locker room. Change a lot of the things that these kids see. The more I instill things in them, and the more they see it, the more they'll start believing. So those 3 things, those words: enthusiasm, desire, trust. It will be throughout that entire locker room because I want these kids to actually know that they're winners and they're believers, and it's gonna be on a T-shirt as well.
And so, coach, what's your what? Before I ask you what's your goal for the program, what's your style of play? What do you think it takes to win a ball game?
To win a ball game, the first and most important thing is discipline. You need to be disciplined in order for you to win any ball game, no matter what sporting event it is. I'm a up tempo guy. I like to run the pace of the game, to run the floor, and I just like to make the opposing team uncomfortable. We're gonna do a lot of pressuring, a lot of traps here and there. I just want to find out your strength and your weaknesses, and whatever your main strength is, I want to take that away and have you find another way to try to beat us.
Wow. And what's your goals for the program?
My goals is to be very successful on and off the court. If these kids do not receive an athletic scholarship, I want them to be able to have an academic scholarship. That's the first and foremost goals. Education is key, just like me and you just talked about. But as far as basketball wise, I want to win the area this year, and
All
I'm
right.
claiming it. We will win the area this year. Those are big shoes to fill. With Murphy being down the past couple of years, but I see us winning the area and going deep in the playoffs, if not winning it all.
Man, that's definitely some big shoes to fill, coach. Because there are definitely some pretty good teams out there that you guys
Oh
gonna beat.
yeah,
And nobody expects Murphy, to win. They figure y'all haven't won in years, you're not gonna win. But we got a new coach after him, and we definitely looking for you guys to stir up some noise in your area. But before I let you go, Coach, if there's any kid that's watching this interview that's getting ready to go into their junior or senior year, what are some of the words you would give those kids?
To remain humble. That's first and foremost, because you have to be able to remain humble. And once you do start to get that spotlight, you have to remain it, because you have to realize that a lot of people now are going to gravitate towards you. So you want to be able to kind of be humble and, just put God first, and He'll guide the rest. But
All
go
right,
out and have fun. That's the main thing.
All right, folks. Varsity head, new coach over at Murphy High School, Andre Epps Jr. Thanks for coming on the network today, Coach.
Thank you, man. Enjoy your day.